Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing great today. I've got a 60-minute session I'm doing for a client. I'm going to be sending out some wisdom and energy healing to support them in their life. If you want to stick around for this amazing experience, go get yourself a nice hot drink and relax. Cozy up. We're going to learn a lot today. Big thank you to you, the client. So nice to get to connect with you. So nice to get to support you with these goals. Thank you for being open to sharing with us here on YouTube. All right, I'm going to read what you got here, and then we're going to get started. So you say, "Hi, Abbey. Hope you're having an amazing day." Thank you. So far, so good. All right, so your goals are a total memory cascade, healing on all levels, clear links to my other aspects, and whatever curveball spirit wishes to throw at us. Okay, I love it. Total memory cascade. We're looking at memories. Healing on all levels. Clearer links to my other aspects. So actually getting to know your reflective selves. And that could be anywhere in the universe, at any level of memory. And really amplifying those links. Because you can help each other. That means that if you have an aspect of yourself that's going through a tough time, you actually could be the very link that helps them find their balance again. And then vice versa. So that can happen too. And the more conscientious you are of this, I mean, you're expanding your reality. So it's not just the day-to-day human life. Now it's you and the many other yous. And so these yous can be associated with literally any timelines. So you can have a timeline. Here's one timeline. That's an eternity of life learning. But then we ascend from timeline to timeline as we continue to grow out of experiences. But then we attract those back again, and they get far more complicated. And so you can enter into any timeline. It's not just you gotta stick with the linear path. And here's this, and then we can incarnate into the next life as we continue forward into the future, as though the future doesn't exist. And so right now I'm getting myself in position here to get to know you interdimensionally and across timelines and eternity. So that's quite an interesting request. You could only possibly request this if something was moving you from the inside and saying, yes, this is what we need next. And I get to be the one that actually helps you do this. Are you kidding me? That's pretty cool. Alrighty. I'm ready. All right, right now I'm just getting in the zone here. And again, I continue to circulate my relationship with your goals because I want to make sure that I'm hitting those notes here with what you're wanting to achieve, so I can send all that information out to the universe, and then it echoes back to me how we're going to navigate this. Wow. Okay. So the first thing, I'm in connection with you. And it's not as if I'm doing anything, but things are happening. And I'm witnessing, also feeling, because I'm connected to you, that there's an inner light here within the head, and that inner light is becoming tangible. Like I can feel it. It's not just a picture. It's living light. This living light from the inside of your head is not just a physical thing, which is cool to call it physical, because you'd want to call it like an energy thing. So it may be like the air. How physical is air? Well, it's more physical than maybe a spirit, perhaps, because spirits is more like a non-tangible, but you can feel the presence, right? So this has presence. This has density even. Like this has life force energy. This is tangible. it's whitish blue, okay? So very pale blue, and it's got white, but you can see an aura of blue about it. And this is coming from inside your head and then expanding out. And we're in the universe, and you're sitting kind of like in a proper meditative position, really good straight back. I see stars all around, and then the darkness in between the stars. I'm merging with you and basically becoming a part of you. I don't necessarily feel like I'm looking through your eyes, though. And so as this me becomes a part of you, and I get to experience this is growing. This isn't just turn the light switch on, it's only going to be this bright. No, this is growing. It's expanding in saturation. So it's not getting wider or anything. It's getting more thick, more dense in the head. This is really unique. And I'm now watching you again, and then there I am within you. I'm starting to wonder if this is me or this is you. And so let's say an aspect of yourself then was watching yourself, then went into yourself. And then this light is it's growing in intensity. And now another me here is standing here watching you. But this is merely a representation of yourself, another one. So I could time this out and be like, okay, let's just explore this. If something is telling me, let's keep moving forward and let's see where this takes us. So now I'm going to watch what I've decided now is a part of yourself, now looking at yourself, and then looking at yourself within yourself. And I'm going to choose to be me, and I'm going to see these as representations of you now. I want to see what happens. I get to feel the representations of you, and you don't want to be separated from yourself. You want to become whole. You want to collect yourself. It's interesting because you define it as a memory thing, but it seems to me more like a root chakra thing. That you're grounded in the universe. Isn't that interesting? Do you need actual ground to be grounded? But when you collect yourself or yourselves, that is what root chakra is all about, is being grounded in your totality. This is a very cosmic level discussion, but it kind of is anti-earthy, but it is earthy because there's a groundedness about it. I feel like you're denying yourself something in this process. So I noticed that, but I don't know how to explain any more than just noticing. There's a vibration here. And I tell that vibration, I notice you. And we're going to continue to move forward as is, but I will not forget you. And then when it feels like the right time, then I'm going to come visit you again. So you've not been forgotten about. Do you ever have to put something important on hold to do something else that's important? So you kind of have to weigh, well, I really need to continue putting my energy into this, and this is going to have to wait, even though it's also very important. It's almost like I have to build myself into this sector, become strong with this, then I can do this. And I'm wondering if that's an appropriate way to navigate balance. It's strange to think that you should do them both super important things somehow at the same pace. And I don't know how, as a human being, I always see it as, okay, well, what are the important things I got to do in the morning? You know, I've got to get out of bed, I have to brush my teeth or eat my breakfast, I take a shower, get dressed, get ready to go. But I can't do all of these important things at the same time. Like, I can't shower and get dressed and eat my breakfast all at the same time. You can only do one thing at a time. But somehow energetically, I feel like I denying this frequency attention. It's almost like more convenient to give this other important process all the time and energy, that the hardest thing to do would be to stop this important process, to give this vibration time and attention. It seems though important to deny this forward motion now. Now that I'm assessing this more. Well, I know it's still a bit vague, okay, but this is going to get more clear as we move forward. So now I'm going to do the timeout thing. Not necessarily to get to know these parts of you, but to get to know what is that vibration. I say, okay. It kind of reminds me of a child. Like, I'm a parent, I'm trying to finish my work, child wants to hang out, can't hang out just yet. Set the work down and then go give some attention here. And then maybe come back to doing the work, you know? So it feels kind of like that. Oh, it's a rascal. It's frustrating. It's a waste of time, energetically. But I will say it needs to be looked at and reconciled, so then you can be fully immersed in this process again. And the process is still a bit vague, although it's interesting so far. I mean, I want to go deeper. I want to know more stuff. When I go into this frequency, I feel like I'm looking down and then into, so like a slide. And so my viewpoint is kind of like very awkward. Like, I'm like a straw that's bent. And I get just a tiny little viewpoint of a space where there's a rascal in here. That's the only way to describe it. It's just like a little energy that's like a bouncy ball that's constantly in every direction, and it's muddy in here. And it's messy, and it's not aware of how messy it is. Kind of reminds me of the podlings in the dark crystal. You try to get one of those rascals and give it a bath, and they're like jumping back in the mud again. This vibration is like a little rascal, a little podling or something. And I slow this energy down. And it gets really frustrated about that. But it starts to calm its frustration, and it starts to feel calm on the inside. Like it needed attention, it needed some guidance. I feel my heart expanding. I feel a profound love for this little frequency. It doesn't like having to slow down, but it also doesn't mind the way this feels. And I'm told to tell this frequency that I can't change you, as in I can't fix you to be what I am aspiring to be myself, and then you could aspire to be me, and then we'll both be great. It's like, what is it to fix somebody? Fix oneself. I want you to just be you. I'm glad that I could give you this experience. But out of my right eye, I am providing also information into the mind of this frequency with ideas about self-care, you could say. How nice it is, what an adventure it is to take a bath. What an adventure it is to be clean, sparkly. What an adventure it is to wear fresh, clean clothes. The smell of new clothing, brand new shoes. That's probably the woman in me, right? Nice clothes and shoes. Smells fresh and clean. But it's an option, it's an option. And it's actually adopted as though they came up with the idea. Because in this scene, it's like a ball that's bouncing in every direction like a crazed toddler. And it's picking up all this mud, and you try to collect it, and I just keep seeing podlings that like can't give them a bath, and it just like runs. It's just a maniac, But it's adorable somehow. It's somehow adorable, okay? It's a little rascal. And you gotta be a busybody to keep up with it. But I'm sending it ideas, and it seems to want to adopt these as its own brilliant idea, which is perfectly fine. It was your brilliant idea. And it's something about the comfort of being slowed down is actually giving it a grander perception of its own world. It's not about doing everything in high speed. It's actually doing things in a slower motion. So there's an adaptation to what is the material of this space. What is mud? What is my form? What is my identity? What is it that I like and dislike? Actually slowing down to reflect without much thought. It's about being present with the sensations of oneself in a different way. I see a bedtime story. I see kissing on the forehead and tucking into bed. And now I see pleasant dreams and the light switch switched off. And that represents it's time to sleep. It's very hard from this space to then just go back to the one that we were in, because there's a connection built here and a level of importance in building and growing, developing this little rascal into something profound just through being present. Just through planting some seeds. It's their idea, right? I'm gonna go be a part of this little sleeper. Maybe this is maybe you have children, maybe you babysit, but maybe this is a part of yourself too. There is when I go into the sleeping child, I'm taken to another place. This place is even more difficult. I didn't expect this. I expect dreamy place. Maybe like a castle in the sky with a big sailboat and pirates or something in the stars, like a dreamy space. But this is kind of like on its way down into purgatory and almost into hell. Just didn't expect it to go down. Is that why the root chakra? Perhaps you're working on all this upper stuff, but it's important to connect it with all this lower stuff too, and to connect it with your human self, because your goal is profound. So I'm being shown these other windows, okay, in order to make this like solid, make this like really good for you. I gotta go down here, and I can tell that where you are way up there in that meditative kind of the material of the light, and it's so exciting there. This is like a human effort Some achievement in there, feel good. Oh, I have this adorable little rascal, is all clean and tucked in. Now I'm exploring what is through the doorway of this little rascal is like a little angel right now. And then I'm going into a darker place. Oh, harsh, hard stuff. I don't really want to. So that's the sensation I'm getting. I don't want to go down there. So I'm going to take the 3 U's. There's 2 here as one, and then another one that's standing watching. And I'm just going to take the 3 U's, and I'm going to place you into my heart. And I'm going to go into this desolate environment. Oh, immediately there's a heavy wooden table. There's a big man, and he's got a big poundy fist, and he's like, pound onto the table, and actually I hear a clanking of like dishes, okay, like silverware and plates or something. And he's mad. Boy, is he mad. And I'm little. I'm just like humbly looking up, like kind of unsure. I'm just gonna be quiet and not say anything because I don't want to create anger towards me. This man doesn't ever attach his anger toward an innocent little person. I see that he does struggle with anger, though. Anger is his solution. And I'm glad he hasn't given in, because sometimes anger as a solution, it can create branches to its own tree, and it starts targeting people. And then it's almost becomes like a straw where you get to suck in the food of how you're messing them up with your anger. That's when it gets pretty dark and twisted. Anger does. I don't see him doing that right now, but I do see that he gets fiery, and it seems like it feels good in some way, but he is angry. And I feel so small in this chair. And I'm just tight and still. I'm not going to say anything. Now I'm standing here looking at this table, this big man. He's speaking to a woman who's drying dishes, actually. And there's a little boy at the table. This isn't a very big space, and this feels olden time. I don't know when or where. Based on the way they're dressed. This woman is a good woman. She actually lets him get all of his feelings out, and then she comes and she gives him a hug. And it does comfort him. He feels overwhelmed with responsibilities, and there's changes in his world, his community, kind of things that he has to figure out. What is he going to do about it? And moments where he has no control and he feels powerless. And this is a big man, but he can still feel powerless. It angers him a great deal. I don't see that he has any pull in this society. Whatever happens, happens, and he just has to accept it. But it does impact his well-being, his wife, his child. I go back into being the child. And I show the child what the mother does to comfort the father. And I show the child, too, what the father is going through. Including the feeling of despair, the feeling of loss of control, like the feeling of powerlessness. I give the child these sensations. And the child is extremely adept at being able to understand. Because in some way the child feels these things too. And the child knows how nice it is when you get hurt inside to get a hug and a kiss. And so the child then, after seeing the mother, after receiving this message, gets off their chair and they go to their father and they give their father a hug and a kiss too. The father has a hard time accepting the child, but does. I'm not sure why that's emotionally difficult for him. Doesn't want to be comforted by his child. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. He just doesn't want to be comforted by his child. His wife wants to comfort him, okay, but not his child. And this creates confusing emotions for him. And he doesn't really have much thought about it other than he doesn't necessarily like this, but he's not denying himself this. The child can't tell. And I see that there is a beautiful bond that develops in the heart of the child for the father, but the father is always kind of not connected like that. And the child grows up not needing it. Child grows up a lot more like the mother, and this is a boy. A lot more, I don't know, softer gestures, you could say. More thoughtful. Doesn't use like the physical muscle more than the mental muscle. Seems to be more of a mental muscle personality. It was important that, okay, I'm showing this for a reason. Because that lifetime wasn't necessarily coming into balance. Because there wasn't guidance for the child. The child would have to decide if they were going to grow up to be like the father or more like the mother. It needed a little bit of help to see the sides of the story and decide what this child was going to be. And in some way that brought peace to that lifetime. Otherwise, the lifetime would be struggling with identity and anger. Anger about who am I? And what can I do in my life? It would just be carrying on the burden of powerlessness. It was this sensation of love and not attaching to anything. It's like, I'm not going to attach to whether my father can love me back or not. I'm just going to love him. And that's it. So it was really healthy. And I started to see from this darker place, this memory is getting absorbed back into the little rascal in the bed. And I see this sleeping angel now as actually having a very good dream, and the heart then expands. And I see that now those parts of you that are in my heart, we're all starting to return to that space way up in the cosmic universe. And I start to see more people standing here. There's males and females. Oh man, you've had some blocks. What I mean by that is I just felt a shell around your heart just crack and break. And you're more accepting of yourselves. And you're more accepting of your lives. And while this is a mind thing, it's, third eye thing, you could say. It could be crown chakra thing, really represents that. I'm feeling the energy flowing because of that heart opening up here. It's all about self-expression, right? Communication. So I feel energy flowing through the throat and through the heart and down in motions, down into the sacral chakra and in the root chakra. And I start to feel you coming to complete embrace of your human life, your human body. Boy, do you ever want to get to know yourself? There's many lenses to look through here, I'm going to take you out of the stars. This is like soul star chakra level stuff. That's great, but we also have to integrate it into the material. And I'm reminded about how thick that light got. It was material light. And I'm wondering if that's the energy that we're going to be expanding within and around you. Almost like this is like a super chakra level accomplishment, because memory isn't just something of the mind. It's like, it's of all your chakras. All your chakras carry memory. So we're letting a memory expand into all parts of yourself. And that includes physical body. It's like muscle memory. You know, some muscle memory. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes maybe not so good. Because it remembers stress and can build anxiety, and having to learn how to relax and clear the muscle memory, a memory in the organs and in the heart. Heart experiences throughout your life. Wow, there's many of those sacral chakra experiences throughout your life. Many of those emotional experiences, all memory. So this is not just like, this seems to me, what I'm accomplishing here is something of the cosmic level, the expansion, extraordinariness of your soul and all that is, was, and ever will be kind of thing. But also really integrating that in a grounded way, in a human body level way, because your body can handle this. Your body can receive these memories. Your body is like, it's like we see kids and we want to protect them, but they're tough. Like they can process complex feelings. They can process complex experiences. So we got to believe in what they can do. And so your body's really strong and wise. And it can digest infinite information because you're a soul. It already has got you, right? So we're just bringing out more of you throughout your whole body. Then you have more access to you and being you without any blocks in the way. That's the goal. I mean, that's like a life process, but boy, we can accomplish a lot today. You really don't, energetically, you really, your energy likes to go up. Doesn't really want to go down. And down doesn't necessarily mean bad. It just, you know, if we wanted to go down, like, is Mother Earth bad? You know, like sometimes we need to go down there, and then we feel peaceful. But sometimes we go down there and we got to face something and translate what that means. And it could be a little shady, shadowy. Might have to face some weird stuff. But you find some comfort in that and you become very powerful. That's like yin-yang balance stuff. That's also important. You don't want to deny yourself the memories that might represent real fear-based experiences that will actually, they're like the powerful sides of the dark side of yourself. As when you learn how to face fears, you go through fearful experiences and learn how to face your fears. So much knowledge and wisdom comes from that. So much growth comes from that. So you want to access that information too, and so that you can become well-rounded. So you can really know yourself. I am going to sit here in your root chakra for a while as like a magnetic influence. Hello, there's a wonderful energy down here too. Come on down here. It's fun at the bottom of the tree. You know, it's like you climb the tree to get to the top. That's where all the fun happens, right? But why would the fun happen on the ground? Well, the fun happens on the ground too. Yes, I'm going to leave that aspect of me in your root, and I'm just going to continue to emanate joy and happiness and earthiness and joy of being human, joy of this life, joy of this body, joy of getting to know yourself in so many different ways, scary stuff, happy stuff, but integrating it all in and healing what needs to be healed, so you can really access your totality in your physical body. You can be more and more and more of all that you are, and you just channel it through you as someone who's confident, comfortable in their own skin, happy to be alive, and wise, you know? So that's what it feels like to be present with more and more of yourselves. So, okay, this is very, very good. We're hopping into yet another experience. This one really affects my emotional gut. And that might make my stomach growl, by the way. Because when I really start working on emotional gut stuff, it just, it triggers things. Okay. All right. I'm in your emotional gut energy. And this is good because it's avoiding sacral chakra. And I'm learning some vulnerable tendencies here. in order to achieve your goal. Okay, so once we pop out of this, I want to get to know more of yourselves and connect some links. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to just sit in the vulnerability of itself, because it just doesn't want to communicate. It doesn't want to talk about it. So it's just kind of like shaking in the dark kind of thing. And it's avoiding. It doesn't want to go down sacral chakra stuff. It doesn't want that. But that is like a paradise place. You want that. And so I take this fearful you. You don't even want to call it yourself. Yeah, this is you. It's just an aspect of you. You want to get to know your yous, you know? And so we'll just take that and place it in the sacral where it doesn't want to be. So then it can face the fear, right? Just a second. There's a lot of screaming happening now in the head about this. You can hate me. I don't care. That's opening up the throat. I'm not sure what the big deal is. I don't know why it's so avoiding of the sacredness of your spirit, of your human life, of its own self. It's like it denies itself this, and it needs this. It's something hard, something painful. It can't cope with it, so we'll help it. Now that, like, the initial, it's like soul screams, man, they're something. But that soul scream has to happen, because that's avoidance of growth. And once the soul scream happens, you kind of, it's divine time now, you got to face this thing. Oh man, it gets better faster. It's like, you gotta, it's almost like just jump in the cold pool, okay? Just jump. No, I'm gonna tiptoe my way. No, you're gonna jump in the cold pool. Soul scream. It's kind of like that. And a playful side. And it's like, man, you don't want me to go in here. There's a lot of, boy, you must work a lot with your energy around your head, because it's really, there's something very pleasant about this energy, and it likes to look from a higher vantage point as a wiser emanation of understanding for everything, but it's a bit disconnected. I'm not sure if it's just you're strongest up there. And so if we start to connect with everything, it's like you're dispersing your strength. But what you're doing is you're becoming strong everywhere. And you're building the muscle in all your chakras in your whole body. And so you want to become stronger everywhere. That's another fear-based thing. So I'm going to help this beautiful blue energy, which there's a female presence that I get to see. She's very majestic. She makes me think of like the moon, something, the night, a peaceful night, night sky. She's very peaceful. You ever take a walk just like, I don't know, at night, and I've done it so many times. It's just great. Either walking really late at night or walking really early in the morning where nobody's around. Like who's gonna walk here at this time? I am. I feel like everything is so much louder. My connection to nature, my connection to the sky, I just can feel it without any other noises in the way. It's just so rich. And so this representation of you that I experience in the energy around your head, it reminds me of that nice feeling. I'm supposed to tell you that I see this woman and she's wearing a blue gown. It glows and it's relaxed. It's not like a fancy princess dress or something. It does have sparkle to it. She has tan skin and like chocolate brown hair and brown eyes. She really gives me this sense of peace. It's like she wants to give people peace. She wants everybody to feel peaceful. So then she has to learn how to feel peaceful too. I'm going to bring her with me into the sacral chakra, where there's this aspect that is not comfortable. She doesn't look so pretty. She's a victim of some event. I don't know if the idea was good. It turned out to not be such a great idea in the end. She's covered in blood. She's still alive. She's stuffed in a cave. And again, there's a child. And she's holding this child, and the child doesn't know what to make of any of this, so is kind of looking to her for guidance. But then she's in pain. She's bleeding. It was like nothing can be done. She tries to ignore her suffering, just comfort this child. They're going to die in here, by the way. It's like maybe there's some kind of ritualistic thing, but it went dark. It kind of went evil dark, and they're put into a cave that's closed. And so it's like sealing a bug in the jar and capturing the soul in there. So that happened. It just depends on how you want to attach yourself to your own death. It's hard not to, though, when you die in a situation like this. Weird. There's the dead are kind of coming out of the walls of the cave. I'm noticing spirits are everywhere, and this place gets very, very cold. There's something not good, vibrationally good, coming forward here. And this vibrationally not good thing, it's like a spider with many, many legs, and each leg is one of these souls, one of these that was sacrificed in here, where you are now sacrificed with this little child. It's like mother and child. This spider thing is accessing your sacral chakra, and it's cold and warm at the same time. And it basically is possessing you. And in a way, it gives you comfort and relief from your suffering. And all those that have been in this lineage of this ritual are a part of you now. And my guides define this as a gifted life, a blessed life, because it opens many interdimensional doorways. And it connects you with many souls that you can explore their lifetimes with. Even if this looks disturbing, and we would define this as disturbing, that everything that is sort of ugly is also beautiful somehow. So we have to also look at the other side. I see that this child has fallen asleep. I don't know why they're sleeping. Out of exhaustion or what, or maybe your energy just shifts and the child falls asleep. I start to see you open up dimensionally, and you start to speak out loud in weird tongues and tones. In the darkness of the cave, and you're bleeding, and you're gonna die here. But this is happening. This is a real spiritual event happening. And there is an ecstasy about it. There is a kundalini kind of activation about it. But I see the spider now absorbs your soul into its body, and you become part of the spider. And I don't know what to make of the child. It's just sort of like we're leaving the scene. And you're being interdimensionally transported through the spider. And this lifetime opens up lifetimes upon lifetimes upon lifetimes upon lifetimes that are really complex, okay? It's like a gateway to maybe initiation. It's like the only path to getting into more complicated lives is to live a complicated life, die in a complicated way, be part of the spider. So I see the spiders on a thread in the universe, and it kind of releases your soul, many, many parts of your souls. It sort of drops into these dimensional spaces. And I'm returning back to the soul scream from the emotional gut. And almost like we go back in time a bit before I ever move that into your sacral chakra. And I smile and I say, wow, you really did that, huh? As part of you shaking, and this represents the child. Somehow the child wasn't chosen for this, and the child ends up dying alone. There's no you there to comfort it. It starved to death in the dark. You're awakening to that reality. But the child is awakening to the reality of you too, simultaneously. And there's a spirit that comes to the child that shows the child about reverence for what we all go through. And all the reverence there is for the child and what it went through. And the reverence for you and what you went through. And that we all take different paths when we die. And this child is lifted up by parents. Doesn't seem like you were the mother of this child. These are two different people. And they bring the spirit of this child away from the conversation. And the child starts to glow and returns to the soul bond. And this space just vibrationally collapses because everything has been circulated through time now and circulated through soul reconciliation now. I don't even feel anything about this at all. And I'm being pulled back to the spider again. I'm noticing the woman with the gown is appearing. She weeps a great deal, and the weeping is on purpose. It's like a medicinal reason. She's weeping for all the complex changes that were hard on your soul. So it's kind of, somehow this weeping gives breath and light to your soul and expansion to your soul for what you've explored and experienced in the most unusual of ways. Now we're back to that part of me that's in your root chakra, and you open a door here and you step into your root. And you feel your higher mind and your root are one. You feel your let's say, all your chakras are part of your root chakra. So we can go down the list. And your soul star chakra is part of your root. Your crown chakra is part of your root. Your third eye chakra is part of your root chakra. Your throat chakra is part of your root chakra. Your heart chakra is part of your root chakra. Solar plexus is part of your root chakra. Sacral chakra is part of your root chakra. And the same goes. And then the earth star chakra is part of your root chakra. So, but all chakras are part of all chakras. So earth star chakra has all the chakras within it too. The soul star chakra has all the chakras within it. All the chakras have all the chakras within it. And so going through and creating a reminder of that. Your sacral chakra has all the chakras within it. It's working with all the chakras. It's connected to all the chakras. It's part of all the chakras. Your solar plexus too has all the chakras within it. You see, it seems like these lower chakras just need a little bit more attention here. A little bit more of a conscious connection. Heart chakra has all the chakras. Yeah, it's already starting to feel lighter as we get up there. We don't need so much of the reminders. But I'm just going to go through and just choose to see that all chakras are aware of all chakras in this moment. And that there's breath, fresh air for each. That they get to be whole in their individual selves, but whole within each other, working together as a family. Wow, that's really good. Okay, I'm going to do this next thing. I know that you've gotten to know or glimpse into aspects of yourself. I'm pausing for a minute to adapt to what's the next approach here with your overall intention for today. They're still wanting to go down, vibrationally down, to reconcile something. Okay, this is another tough one, okay? I'm not sure why they grabbed you, but you're basically naked and you're being harshly shoved into a cell. And you skin your knee a bit when you fall. This isn't like soft ground by any means. It's you bleeding off of a lip too. Your face hurts. You're crying. There's really no caring at all about how people are treated down here. Almost, what's the timeline of this? I don't know. It's kind of brutal though. Imagine living a life where you had the freedom to just brutalize people because you could. Just toss them into a cell. It didn't matter if they were male or female. You just had the freedom to do it, you know? There's absolutely no compassion. There's no caring. You're not really a human being. You're just a thing. And my guides challenge me. They say, is this brutal person you? Or is this victim you? Which one? We never want to see ourselves as the heartless brute. But there's value to seeing yourself having been all kinds of representations. Because how can you really know what love is if you don't explore what love is not? And maybe on some level the ugly is also beautiful too. It's not saying that you're the brute, it's saying that you're the victim. But I think it's worth opening the door to the possibilities. And that's important. I said that. I'm becoming this woman. And her days are numbered, kind of feel to it. And this is not going to be fun. But I'm giving her this saintly emanation. Like this isn't about the desire to live a full life and have a peaceful death. This is about the life experiences and the love that you can still share even in a complex place. Can you love that man for how he treated you? Is it love that that man needs? That would disrupt his whole spectrum of who and what he is, and what he's capable of being, what he's capable of letting go of being. You weep and you get this message, but you kind of, it fades out and you just weep and you just really don't enjoy your circumstances. I mean, who really would? There's stress here, and this is coming from the third eye. It's also coming from the sacral chakra. This man does not know, like, love to him would be an intimate exchange with a prostitute or something. Like, this man doesn't seem to have any real experience of being nurtured, ever. And so when you smile at him despite your circumstances, which you do, you find the courage to do it. The man thinks that you're a prostitute and that you're wanting to sleaze your way out of here. That's the only reason why you would be smiling at him. So unfortunately, he does rape you. But you don't give in to despair over this. Because something in the compass of your heart says, I still have life to live, and I'm going to live it no matter what happens, and I'm going to be true to this saintliness, this feeling of something good in this ugliness. And it's interesting because you say something peculiar. You don't weep while you're being raped. You just accept that you are giving saintliness to this man. And this man then behaves the way he behaves. And afterward, you tell him not to leave yet, and you hug him. And the man's confused by this. He still thinks you're manipulating him to get your way out. But you're not. You literally have accepted death completely. And all you have left is basically the exchange with this cell guard. I don't know why you're down here. But now the cell guard gives you a longer life because he's building a relationship with you. He even finds a way to sneak you in decent food to eat. You're the only person that ever gave him any form of affection that was authentic. Like I can feel that. How hollow this man was. And what he was capable of becoming different. Someone just cared about him. You do end up dying. And he does have to watch you die, which was a very hard day for him. And you did get through to his soul. To think differently. To act differently and to not forget you. You feel purified from that memory. You consider yourself very brave, and it's nice to hear that, because you are brave. You need time to reflect. And I can see your whole energy field is kind of blessed, it's purified, it's accepting of the lower layers or darker layers of difficult times. No matter what value you want to put on, like, that's a hard life. That one's kind of hard. Not that bad. It's like, oh, these are very unique. Each one carries its own weight, Each one deserves a little attention. And that's what happens when you go into that little rascal energy, huh? It ends up getting into you too. In a way that it frees you on the next level, You're not just the tree with the top, you're a tree with the roots and the trunk and all the arms. Inhaling and exhaling cosmically, planetarily, on the soul level, then around in all sacred directions. All the experiences of your soul. You feel so much more in touch with yourself, so much more reverence for yourself, so much more appreciation of the value of human life and all its complexities. It's not just about the cool, cosmic spaces, because those are awesome. But sometimes you'll find something awesome in the ugly places too. That change you for good, As it makes you feel something deep down about the meaning of it all. Gives you the power to be of gratitude for everything. So that's what comes to me. That is one good session right there. That was one amazing experience. Thank you so much for that. it was neat to see those reflections of yourself. Oh, I get this echo coming to me. Let me just listen real quick. You kind of wanting to know about the you within the you, and the other you standing there watching. And, you know, that beginning place. And so let me explore that real quick. It's all about letting yourself free yourself from a sense of separation. So I'm starting to see the disappearance of another self. All the people that are standing here were actually representations of you from many lives. And so they're not separate from you or separate from you. Let's just say that again and again. But they're part of you, part of the fabric of your skin, your heart, your organs, your brain, your spirit. You're at the nucleus of all of these reflections. It's about wholeness. And also the past, because we're going back to the beginning. Past then interacting with the present or the future. I mean, are we in the future from the past? Yes. Are we in the present? Yes. Are we going into the past as though the past is in the present? Yes. In order to explore this question? Yes. And so I'm taking past and present and future concepts, and then I'm just placing them at the center of you, okay? At the nucleus of you. So that way you carry past, present, and future all within yourself. And all these concepts of timelines of eternity, it's like we're going up the ladder, so to speak, of ascension. It's how we view it. And it's all just like one big book. It's just like the extraordinary infinite book of your soul. And all of it is in wholeness, is in oneness. And that there is in your heart too. At the center of your soul. It's the center of the universe. You are. It's the center of it all. So from the center of it all, you can read any chapter in your own book. And you can visit any parts of you from any time. At the center of it all. You carry yourself at the center of it all. You are at the center of it all. And even as a human being, you carry it, the center of it all. Man, you feel so wholesome and balanced. You feel vibrationally awesome. So you get to work with that now. You know, life continues and you'll have new inspirations, and just keep following the adventure of where life leads you next, you know. Thank you again for exploring these goals with me. Very nice to get to dive into all of this and share with others. And yeah, for those watching, if any of you are interested in exploring a session, you can book a session at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. You can also find me on Patreon, doing live streams out there, patreon.com/abbeynormalswisdomquest. Have a great day, everybody.